to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And before I get started, just want to let everybody know that tonight I will be live for another Q&A. Should be a lot of fun doing those hangouts. It's kept me talking about sports, so hopefully some of you guys come by for that. In addition to that, I will have, I hope, at least one more video up today, so hopefully you guys check that out. But in this video, we're going to talk about the topic that's been on everybody's mind. Where will the New York Giants go with the number 4 selection? And I think all of us agree at this point, unless Chase Young, drops, which most people think he will not, the Giants will more than likely go with an offensive tackle or Isaiah Simmons. Well, Ralph Vacchiano came out with an article today discussing the topic and what his sources, at least as of now, are telling him where the New York Giants will go. Ralph Vacchiano, of course, was the first guy that I know of that came out, at least with the New York media, and said that the New York Giants will be taking Daniel Jones, and he said that pretty definitively. Well, his sources this entire time have said that the Giants are more than likely taking Tristan Wirfs and are definitely leaning offensive line. He did go on to say that Isaiah Simmons is still a possibility, and it's still early in the process, but right now, they're leaning the tackle, and we'll get into the quotes of what Vacchiano had to say. Before I do that, I just want to show you guys a poll I conducted in my community notes, and this was when it was up to 579 votes. I think it's up to about 650 in the first 2 hours or so. And I asked you guys, I showed you guys the Vegas odds. Right now, Tristan Wirfs and Isaiah Simmons are in a dead tie for the favorites in Vegas of who the New York Giants will select, both at 2.5 to 1 odds. And then Mekhi Becton was a close third, I think at 3.7 to 1. Andrew Thomas was 26 to 1. But I asked you guys who the New York Giants will draft, not who you want them to draft. And you guys still definitively have said Isaiah Simmons. And I definitely could see the Giants taking Simmons. Their defense has been really poor the last couple of years, and he would certainly fit. Obviously I've given my argument as to why I would go with the tackle, but Simmons is definitely a guy that I would take a look at. But 67% of you guys voted for Isaiah Simmons. The next closest, I think, was 17% with Wirfs. So we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But according to Vacchiano, at least, it seems like Wirfs is the favorite to be landed by the New York Giants. But let's get into the exact quotes and see what Vacchiano had to say in his article today. I got this off of Giants Wire, but it was originally posted on SNY. Gettleman vowed to fix that on his first day as GM back in December of 2017, and of course he's talking about the offensive line. And he hasn't done a good job keeping that promise. He's added some nice pieces, but somehow he's never drafted the young stud tackle that can anchor his line for years. This is his chance, and he hasn't. The way he's tried to fix the tackle, at least as of now, through his first 2 years, is Nate Solder. Nate Solder didn't work out. Other than that, they've been, patchwork players. There are 4 good ones at the top of the draft, including one, Iowa's Tristan Wirfs, that sources say he loves. The others are good and possible choices too, including Alabama's pro-ready Jedrick Wills and Louisville's massive Mekhi Becton. The Giants could even trade down and still get a good one. He then later goes on to say, it is by no means a lock this early in the process, but the consensus of sources that we've spoken to at SNY is that the Giants will take a tackle at number 4 and quite possibly take another offensive lineman, likely a center, in round 2. They loaded up on defense last year in free agency, said one NFL personnel executive. Gettleman knows he has to fix that line now. Otherwise, he's going to waste Barkley's best years and delay Jones's growth. And that's been my argument from the start, and that's why I think, in the end, the Giants will go with a tackle. And as a matter of fact, I might get a bet in with those odds with Tristan Wirfs before the draft starts. We'll have to wait and see, because I do think, from things that I've read and just my common sense, I do think the Giants are going to go with a tackle for the exact reasons that Ralph Vacchiano's source just stated. They've drafted a quarterback and a running back early in the last 2 years' drafts. The offensive line has still been bad. That has been what Dave Gettleman said was his mission to fix when he took this job. He has an opportunity to take a top-tier tackle. According to Vacchiano, he thinks he will take that opportunity. But according to the fans, they think that the Giants will go Isaiah Simmons. Who knows at this point in time? I can only tell you guys what the paid professionals are saying right now, in the articles. And Ralph Vacchiano has definitely been somebody that's been relatively credible when it comes to the draft over the last couple of years. I've also seen Louis Riddick said that he'll fall out of his chair if they don't take Isaiah Simmons, which I personally think is ridiculous. I think Simmons would definitely be a great player for the New York Giants to add. I would love to see him, with the defense, but to not at least see the reasoning behind taking a tackle when you got a very poor offensive line and a second-year quarterback in a new offense, to me, is being short-sighted. I think taking the tackle is long-term thinking. That's been my opinion from the start. That's the route I would go. Would I be upset with Simmons? By no means. I definitely think he would help improve this defense, but we need to improve the offensive line as well. It's going to come down to what Gettleman believes and what he thinks, and according at least to Vacchiano, he's a big fan of Tristan Wirfs, and he has said this months before, even before the Combine. And obviously, he only helped his stock after the Combine. It's why I've had Tristan Wirfs going to the Giants in each of my last 2 or 3 mocks. And in the end, right now, unless things change, that is where I think the Giants will go. Would I take Tristan Wirfs? Probably not. I think Jedrick Wills is probably the best tackle prospect at this point in time, and I think Andrew Thomas might be the safest. Tristan Wirfs has a very high ceiling, though, with his athletic ability, and I could certainly see the thinking behind it. I get excited thinking about Wirfs getting out there in front of Saquon Barkley on a screen pass, things like that. A guy that can run a 4.8, 5.40 at his size is pretty remarkable. Does he have some things to work on? Absolutely. Is he the most technically sound offensive lineman in this draft? No. Does he project to be more of a right tackle or right guard? Yes. And that is the argument to possibly take Andrew Thomas, who is a definitive left tackle. Wills, we don't know. Wills right now has been a right tackle throughout the course of his career in Alabama, but he's been the blindside protector for Tua. But a lot of people think he could shift over to that left side. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But according to Vacchiano, as he said now for months, the Giants are leaning Wirfs, and it could change. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.